Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue to build decks led by the new legendary creatures from the Final Fantasy set. Leading today's deck is none other than the Warrior of Darkness himself, Ardbert. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. Ardbert, Warrior of Darkness is a 3-mana 2/2 legendary spirit warrior. Whenever we cast a white spell, Ardbert puts a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature we control, and they gain vigilance until the end of turn. Additionally, whenever we cast a black spell, we put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature we control. Those creatures gain menace until the end of turn. So, I had a thought when I first saw Ardbert. What if we played as many spells as we could that were both black and white, thus getting double triggers? And what if we tried to run as many legendary black and white creatures as possible? Sounds fun, right? Real quick, as with all Final Fantasy XIV Legends, I wanted to discuss Ardbert's history and how his ties to both the light and darkness shaped the fate of not one, but 2 worlds. First of all, you need to understand that there is one source and 13 reflections. Eons ago, Hydaelyn split the world asunder in order to weaken Zodiark so that she could imprison him. In order to free their god, the Ascians have been working hard to bring about rejoinings. Cataclysmic events where a reflection is destroyed due to an overwhelming amount of aspected aether, and that excess of aether returns to the source, causing an umbral calamity. Earthquakes that shake the land apart, tornadoes that destroy cities, or raging fires that reduce forests to ash. In order to bring about an astral imbalance, the Ascians have tried many different options, but they've gotten better as time goes on. Now, rejoinings require calamities to happen simultaneously on the source and the reflection that is about to be absorbed, which is weird because time moves differently between the source and the other worlds, but that's neither here nor there. The story of Ardbert begins on the first, a world nearly consumed by light. A century ago, darkness was wiped out. The Warriors of Light, Ardbert, along with his companions Lamet, Brandon, Rendere, and Silva, defeated the Shadowkeeper. But it turns out that the Shadowkeeper, that being of darkness who was secretly in charge of all the evil in the world, was actually their friend Silva. So Ardbert spares her life. Instead, he defeats the Ascians who were secretly behind it all. Ardbert summons a Blade of Light, which mutated Mitron into the first Sin Eater, known as Eden. This was the catalyst that summoned the Flood of Light. Light consumed over 90% of the world. If it weren't for the sacrifice of Ardbert and his companions, as well as the avatar of Minfilia, the entire world would have been flooded and all life consumed. But unlike the rest of his companions, Arden has been forced to continue. He wanders the first alone as a shade, barely remembering his name or purpose. But then he runs into us and starts to remember. And as time goes on, we learn more of his history and the reason he hasn't been allowed to pass on, like his companions. All of these events happen in Shadowbringers, but that wasn't the first time we met Ardbert. We actually met him all the way back in Heavensward, 2 expansions prior. He, along with his companions, called themselves the Warriors of Darkness. Their purpose was to rile up the beast tribes, encouraging them to summon primals and, eventually, kill the Warrior of Light. But we defeat them, and help them team up with Minfilia in order to halt the Flood. So Ardbert is both a Warrior of Light and a Warrior of Darkness. He fought against the Ascians, but was also tricked into working for them. But he does get his redemption arc, and his spirit is finally allowed peace. And then his body is taken by another Ascian and we have to defeat him again, but that's another story. For now, let's get back to Commander. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. I know I'm sponsored, so you may not believe me, but Ultimate Guard katanas are the best sleeves on the planet. They have gorgeous colors like these green ones, are durable and long-lasting, and an absolute joy to shuffle. Let Ultimate Guard protect your cards with katanas. Pick yours up today at your local game store or order it on Amazon. Link down below. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming over on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. For lands, we've got Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, The Grey Havens, Shattered Sanctum, Isolated Chapel, Snowfield Sinkhole, Sunlit Marsh, Tainted Field, Desolate Mire, Fetid Heath, Caves of Koilos, Bright Climb Pathway, Shine Shadow Snarl, Orzhov Basilica, Monumental Henge, Bojuka Bog, Minas Tirith, Myriad Landscape, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, 8 Plains, and 9 Swamps. Oh, I think I forgot to mention earlier. This is a budget deck, which should explain some of our land choices. If you're not on a budget, consider replacing a swamp with a Tekanuma Abandoned Mire. Our mana ramp package consists of Killian Ink Duelist, Lotho Corrupt Sheriff, Joyra's Familiar, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Hierarchy, Orzhov Signet, Marble Diamond, Charcoal Diamond, Mind Stone, Felwar Stone, Chromatic Lantern, and Solemn Simulacrum. Some thematic ramp, some land ramp, but mostly mana rocks, appropriate for Orzhov. For card advantage, we're running Ferja, Judge of Valor, Laisa, Forgotten Archangel, Lurrus of the Dream Den, Moira and Teshar, Naim Shai Marad, Ravos Soul Tender, Teysa, Opulent Oligarch, Tomic, Wielder of Law, Wernog, Rider's Captain, Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle, Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, the Kenrith's Royal Funeral, and Phyrexian Arena. I'd wanted to include Athreos God of Passage and Timna the Weaver as additional card advantage, but they didn't fit the budget. For interaction and spot removal, we've got Jirina, Dauntless General, Karloff of the Ghost Council, Vona, Butcher of Magan, Lost to Legend, You Cannot Pass, Swords to Plowshares, Despark, Fracture, Mortify, Generous Gift, and Disenchant. Yes, I know we have a lot of options in Orzhov, but I wanted to lean towards 2-color spells to help us trigger our commander better. Our board wipes consist of 1 Ring to Rule Them All, Urza's Ruinous Blast, and Damn. Not too shabby. The core of our deck consists of Arvad the Cursed, Athreos Shroud Veiled, Baron Bertram Greywater, Brina the Demagogue, Colonel Autumn, Drana and Linvala, Ellis Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim, Elenda the Dusk Rose, Felisa Fang of Silverquill, Kumbal Consul of Allocation, Kumbal Profiteering Mare, Kuranos Hound of Athreos, Laisa Shroud of Dusk, Obzat Ghost Council, Rhea Ivor Bane of Bladehold, Rufus Shinra, Shadrick Silverquill, Shay Cormac, Tesa, Envoy of Ghosts, and Varric, Warped Sengir. Yes, that is a lot of legends. Supporting our plan, we've also got Flowering of the White Tree, and Tiny Bones joins up. Again, for some non-budget options, I recommend Commissar Severina Rain and Excalibur, Sword of Eden. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 50 mana sources, split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp. Right on target. 13 pieces of card advantage. 11 pieces of interaction. 3 board wipes. 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Bojuka Bog and Kurnos Hound of Athreos. 1 Sudden I Win card in Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. There are a lot of Orzhov creatures that I skipped over because they didn't go with the theme of the deck. Someone like Arvad the Cursed is great, but Denethor Ruling Steward wants us to sacrifice creatures, which isn't what this deck is about. Other Orzhov legends cared about vampires or bats, and we're neither a vampire deck nor a bat deck. We're a Legends Matter deck. We want to cast legends, grow them, then swing out with a huge army of legendary creatures. While Menace doesn't exactly make us unblockable, it does make blocking more annoying. Math is for blockers anyway. Are you building an Ardbert Warrior of Darkness commander deck? What's your secret deck? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Borgie, Naswin, Congo, Robert, Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard, Sint, Boomy, Osura, Justin, Golden Walker, Ernesto, Midge, and Captain Hammer. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.